Two, you're live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Entab presents CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where the stalwarts of education express their viewpoints on burning topics related to education. And today's topic of the day is teachers training. That's right, effective teachers training. Before I begin, let me quickly introduce you to Entab. We are a 20-year-old IT company providing matured and futuristic school ERP, CRM, and mobile apps to the top schools across India and help transform them from good schools to the best ones. Now let's move on to our guests of the day. So first we have with us is none other than Radhamani Iyer ma'am. She is the principal of Arya Gurukul Kalyan. She's an extremely passionate educator and believes that every child is unique. She started her teaching career as a preschool teacher. She taught in various CBSE schools in Mangalore, Ahmedabad, Noida, so on and so forth. And guess what? She has an extensive experience of 28 years. She received Caring Principal Award in the year 2016, and under her able leadership, Arya Gurukul received 14th rank in Maharashtra in CBSE category in 2017. CBSE has also recognized her in a short span of 4 years as Board Exam Observer, Center Superintendent for Competitive Examinations, Resource Person for CBSE, for Capacity Building Program Life Skills, Lead Collaborator under the Hub Learning of Schools, and Member of Inspection Panel for CBSE Affiliation. So without further ado, let us quickly put your hands together for Radhamani Iyer ma'am, Principal Arya Gurukul School.
Thank you.
Welcome on board, ma'am.
So much. Wonderful introduction.
My pleasure, ma'am. Next, we have our Punjab ki Sherni coming back on our platform once again, Paramjeet Kaur Dhillon, ma'am. She's very close to our heart. She's the principal of Kamla Nehru Public School, Phagwara, Punjab, and her school, let me tell you, is the Microsoft Example School because I remember she told me so much about it. So Paramjeet ma'am is working as the principal in India since 1st December 2006 in Kamla Nehru. With her extensive experience of 26 years, ma'am is MSc Physics B.Ed, gold medalist, well traveled, well read, and has visited 14 countries. She's globally validated master trainer on 21st century core skills by British Council UK and is a British Council school ambassador. She is also Microsoft Innovative Educator Trainer and Fellow, initiated IT transformations in school, and is pioneer in mapping the entire school K-12 curriculum and United Nations 17 SDGs. Presently holding the chair SDG Edu Chopal Education Wing, which is dedicated to support the national and state governments and institutions on advocacy and community engagement for SDG implementation in India. Please put your hands together to none other than Paramjeet Kaur Dhillon, ma'am, the Lioness of Punjab. Welcome on board, ma'am. All right. So, without further ado, let us quickly start with the topic the importance of effective teacher training. And I'll first go to Radhamani Iyer, ma'am. Ma'am, since you're an educator yourself, I'm sure during this corona crisis and everything, you must have undergone some kind of professional, unprofessional, integrated trainings in the initial years. So, would you like to share your experience and how you also undertook training and then were you able to successfully pass on that training to your juniors?
Yes, so as you mentioned, during this pandemic, among in Kalyan, in fact, the whole city, we were the first one to conduct an online exam immediately after the announcement of the lockdown, and then we were the first one to go with the online exam, and we are also a Microsoft school, and even myself is a Microsoft MI certified principal, and my whole school, all the staff. Our 100% staff is a Microsoft MI certified, and there are around like 25% teachers who are Microsoft expert, MI experts. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So when we started this journey from in the month of January, um, actually we were into Microsoft this from 2018, but we got that platform in the month of March immediately. So but the training further, that MI certificate, what they got is afterwards during the course of time during this lockdown period. So what happened is during that time, immediately to go online as a online classroom. The first thing which I worked on the belief system, the training through communication, the belief system, that mindset. Yes, this is possible, and the training was along with that was introduced, but still there was some resistance.
Of course.
And so we what we did, that training, we divided them to a smaller group. So there was some adopted instantly, there was some showing lots of resistance. Even they had an issue with family members spending so much of time on that. So what happened, we made a small groups, trained the small groups, and the smaller group further trained a smaller group.
So
So
basically,
in this
training the
process,
trainers.
yeah, training the trainers. So that is cascading them from one group to other group and other group. So in this, within a small, like with a short period, we could achieve this, going online completely. And right now, in this process, all 100% teachers are my trainers. I myself got trained, and we went into that 100 certificate. Every teacher underwent that, including the principal. And so we could do that online. And the training is what helped.
Right.
Training is along with belief, strengthening the belief, communication, and then the teamwork.
Absolutely. Wonderful, ma'am. Paramjeet, ma'am, I know because since we have shared this, diocese prior as well, and one of the key factors that you've always talked about is training the teachers. So, ma'am, initially, I'm sure because as humans, we are also a bit hesitant towards adopting new things and we are a bit reluctant towards change. Did you also face some sort of problem during the pandemic?
Actually, well begun is half done. It was December 2019 when we realized Wuhan, the schools were closed down and they were going for remote learning. We began our planning at that particular time. We, being a Microsoft Showcase school, we had the Office 365 IDs. We had the ways and means to connect. What was lacking was lessons need to be prepared, training the parents. So we had an examination in such a manner that we actually preponed the examination with lots of gap. We have some smart classes, in the sense some Wi-Fi smart classes. So the teachers who were using these Wi-Fi classes, they were already trained using Teams. But other classes, and those classes were 4 to 8. And the other classes, that 9, 10, 11, 12, the touch me nots, the board classes, the higher classes, the PGTs were one whom I had to deal with. But in February, my teachers, the graduate, the TGTs trained all the PGTs. We began examination, and then after training all those, we started preparing, and then we called the parents. Results were being declared. We started early, as we said, results were declared. We called the parents, downloaded this Teams app on their devices, had a good hands-on session with my 11th and 12th, who were my 12th and my 10th, who joined earlier. And then it was no looking back. We came into groups, prepared our presentations. Teaching online is totally different from teaching face to face. The language has to be different. The body language has to be different. You are not, you have to be very, very polite. As such, we should be polite in the classrooms. It wasn't so. We were still masters when it came to our classrooms. So then mock sessions amongst them, and we went with a bang from 2nd of April. We had K-12, the whole school approach of remote learning, right from kindergarten to grade 12. our remote learning was talked about, and the result was we had about 150 new admission in grade 11, a record in itself because there were schools which were only up till grade 10. We opened our gates, we said anybody in the school can have an experience, and that's how we went. And this story is pretty popular and viral amongst the Microsoft circle, covered nationally and internationally. Village school goes virtual. That's it.
Village school goes virtual as well as goes viral. So that's wonderful, Paramjeet, ma'am. I'm sure
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
because of all
God's
your.
grace, wonderful team, great team.
Absolutely, ma'am. But that brings me to another. If I would like to take a cue from what Paramjeet ma'am said, Radhamani ma'am, do you think that it's an altogether different challenge? Because she said, talking about online, it's very difficult from physical learning. Then I'm sure it must be a totally another sort of a ball game when it comes to keeping the students engaged during online classes. How do you guys do that? How do you do that? Do you have some sort of ways, techniques that you've adopted?
Yes, yes. So when we decided to go online, the first challenge was the lesson plans, the delivery of the lesson plan. Of course, the tools were available and the training was done, like the tools. And it's an ocean in Microsoft. Like there are lots of tools that we have explored. The the first thing which were required was the lesson plan. How are you going to engage the children? And this was discussed and strategized. What we did is we had created a lesson plans overviews. When the teachers make a lesson plan, because one big challenge was we had lots of onlookers when we conduct online classes. We have the whole family attending the online classes, and everybody has their own opinion into it. So we had envisioned that this lesson plan is not only for the child, it is for the whole family. And it exactly helped us. And then we created overview sessions for teachers. So they created lesson plans, use the tools, and this overviews are lesson plans are viewed in three different levels. Immediately, the PGTs were viewed, and then further the HODs were viewed, and finally it came to me. And it is not an easy task to review, then there is a make changes, and then come back again on it. Even teachers had their own lots of time they need to invest, and it was not an easy task, and they had invested lots of time into it. Now, in this, what happened is over the timeline, from April to May, and then in the month of June, July, we started getting. We also worked on one thing is feedback.
Right.
When the parents started, we had kept the feedback open for all. And then what I personally worked on lots of feedback, and it was 100% attending to feedback of parents, whatever they are giving, 100%. And initially, I started with it, and gradually, I handed over this feedback to teachers, how to handle the feedbacks. And then what happened by the month of July and then August, it happened such that parents started sending a feedback that, ma'am, so wonderful lesson plan, my concept which was not cleared long back, and that got cleared. Like I have lots of email that like that, also feedback that parents said, my concepts are cleared, so happy. If somebody would have taught me this way, I would have been doing something else. So that was the thing. And the best thing, we worked on overviews at three different levels. Now the level is set, the teachers have trained themselves to go online. We don't have to do three levels of online. So it is one level is enough. So that is what has worked.
Well, that's actually a very smart thing, realizing from the get go that, it's not only going to be for the student, but even the parents will be sitting alongside with the student while he's preparing his lessons and everything. That's a very interesting school of thought. Paramjeet, ma'am, any such innovative or inquisitive, because that's very inquisitive for me. I would love to see one of those lessons, to be honest, and get my doubts cleared
Yes.
as
Okay,
well.
sir, welcome.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome to visit. You name the class, you name the subject, and we'll invite you sharing a link.
Thank you
See,
so much, ma'am.
We visited the bedrooms, we visited the drawing rooms. We had grandparents, we had parents, everybody joining our classes.
Wow.
That's how it went when it came to teams. We were lucky, we started a journey with Microsoft way back in 2015. And since then, we are a Microsoft Showcase school. So teachers empowered. I have 100% MIE experts, right? I have MCE, which are about 22 in number. We have a Microsoft Office specialist, and they are 32 in number. So the empowerment is there in a big way. So we really didn't have much problems, but yes, we tried to learn from our experience. We would tell the children initially when we started, we said, "Hey, don't unmute yourself, quiet." And then we realized there was pin drop silence. It was so boring. Like, come on, unmute yourself and say. And then we did everything possible. Children read the lesson, and the teacher would say, "Oh, that's right." That's how we go about. We celebrated birthdays. We had parents meet. We catering to children from 65 villages. The parents would dress up. आज parents meet है. आज तो हमने बात करनी है teacher से. It's lovely experience, and the empowerment, which could not have happened in 5 years, was done in 10 months for everybody. The IT skills of the teachers are marvelous. The IT skills of the students are great. The evaluation system is totally changed. It was totally, the learning gaps will be covered. Let us empower them when it comes to IT skill was again one of the hidden agenda of all this work. It's been a great experience. Satisfying too.
I'm sure, man, I'm sure. And to be very honest, if we look at even our history, the history of the civilization and everything, um, major setbacks, like for example, like pandemic was a setback for human civilization. But then, in the midst of chaos, there lies an opportunity.
Yes.
That's what I've always believed in.
Yes.
Example from one of my favorite topics to talk about is in his history. And if we saw World War II as well, there was a giant leap of scientific innovations that happened from radar technology to codings and to all those things, Wi-Fi. So yeah, and this must have been an exhilarating experience as an educator and as a leader, I'm sure. So, ma'am, taking cue and moving forward, Paramjeet, ma'am, according to you, basically, since now we understand it's going to be micro teaching. So, what is its importance and is it effective for training the teachers?
Actually, let me talk about SDG 4. That's
Yeah,
quality education. And the vision is ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. To give this lifelong opportunity, we need to have empowered teachers. And empowered teachers lead to engaged classroom, leads to
right.
lifelong learning. All right. And micro teaching has a great role. See, we didn't even realize it was micro teaching. Good old days when we were teachers, it was actually micro teaching. We would observe lessons and then we would come to know, analyze everything. Here also, during this pandemic time, we practiced micro teaching. When we prepared the lesson in the month February and March, we prepared it in groups. And the teachers were supposed to actually have the entire session, mock sessions with the fellow department teachers. And these department teachers would say, "You were right there, but your voice was very harsh. So, no, listen to me. Don't do." We just can't be doing like that.
Mm,
We have to be very, very polite. We have to make sure the children are engaged. Otherwise, you would be teaching a screen and the children will be walking around in the houses. Your lesson is not that interesting. Your eye can connect makes so much of difference in the classroom. But here it's different. So we did go for micro teaching, and micro teaching is an important part of engagement and empowerment of the engagement of the students and empowerment of the teachers. And especially team spirit has been built during this particular time because it is not, seventh, hey, I'm teaching this, I have to be the best teacher, and I'm not going to share it with seventh B. This never happened now. This was the time when we were collaborating. This was the time when we were improving communication skill. This was the time when learning was happening, and this was the time when everything went in a big way, moving on, lots of micro teaching being practiced.
Right. And Radhamani ma'am, what about you?
Okay, so I have a very personal relationship with micro teaching because my career started with as I started my career as a preschool teacher.
Yeah.
And my entire learning, apart from the basic certification, my entire learning was through micro teaching. And I used to enjoy the micro teaching I myself, and each time when the teacher used to present something new, is to unique, we used to explore, and then we used to think, how will I make it more interesting for my teachers too? So that if they feel okay, something different the teacher has done. So throughout my life, my initial life, I started right from 99, 98, 99. So everywhere I went, I have written that like in Mangalore, I was teaching, and in Ahmedabad, when I was in Noida, I got a breakthrough there. I was there, and the whole scenario of micro teaching was different. So when my growth was based on micro teaching. So, and the same applicable to us. As a leader, it is applicable to teachers, and during online sessions also, micro teaching is a one which helped along with the overview, and that is a need of the hour, and that is will remain ever with our teaching fraternity, micro teaching.
Wonderful. So, ma'am, as you were talking about micro teaching, Paramjeet, ma'am, I just wrote it down that you were talking about collaboration. And one thing which I noticed is, and this is going to be the future as well, to be very honest,
Yes.
global collaboration, not on only on the national level, but on a international level. I've seen so many schools, and earlier also it used to happen like exchange programs, but it was more talk about the West. But now I saw so many schools doing Zoom calls with students. Even I conducted certain platforms wherein I got in different schools from different parts of the world, and then they were sharing their cultures, their ethnicities, how teaching takes place in their time, in their school, and everything. So, uh, how will you initiate the process of global collaboration, or are you already doing it?
Yes. We are actually doing it. We have n number of Skype sessions. For example, in November we have this Microsoft event, which is known as the Microsoft Global Learning Event. In the last session, we were India winners. We connected with 430 classes, with 35 countries. We went in for 48 hours non-stop Skype sessions, staying in school. So that was one thing. This time also, we have gone to 634 classes. I think again, it's a big number of countries. I think it's maybe 38 or 40 countries we have gone for. So we are into it. Our children, they are so comfortable talking to children from around the world. They're giving. Now, this time the beauty was the children were presenting so much. Because when it came to the evaluation, we didn't have the typical traditional evaluation. We said, you have to go for presentations. You will be using gaming when it comes to your evaluation. We'll be using Microsoft Forms. All these things were used. We'll be using Minecraft when it comes to your evaluation. We'll be using Flipgrid as such, so that we can, you're going to answer like this. We used everything possible. And then collaboration is very, very important. International collaboration, all the more important. We're preparing children to be global citizens, not limited to my small little city, Phagwara, or the metropolitan city in India. Punjab has a trend of going abroad, right? And that's what we're preparing our children for. When they go there, they'll be very, very happy, confident. As far as technology is concerned, sound in that, and communication skills taken care of. IT skills, great. That's it.
Wonderful. And ma'am, Radhamani ma'am, what about you?
Yes, since being a Microsoft school, to be got lots of opportunity to be stay connected as a connected learners. We had a complete session there around 80 schools had participated in this whole global session where we got an opportunity to present ourselves and the opportunity. So, as ma'am mentioned, some 48 hours of Skype session, but we had around some 18 hours of sessions we had. And was learning from like we attending moving around whatever tools they have used and we were trying to explore ourselves. And it was totally a very what is that learning. And we also a part of carte blanche school as per the sessions. There was an event conducted by Microsoft through Tech Avant is our service provider for this. So they had conducted that we have become a carte blanche school, and the school has been designated as a change maker.
Wow.
And the principal has been made the change maker for that. So that's it. In this short span, that is the only thing I can explain to you. But if
Ma'am,
you
that
come personally, there are so many things to explain. Like,
I'm sure. But this would be about the students. What about the teachers? Did teachers also collaborated with?
Yes. Teacher collaborations were there, and it was totally internationally we connected, and the whole scenario was so different. Like no teacher. The problem what was when it was online, there were online lectures for teachers, so we had arranged different staggered timing for teachers to attend all these things so that everybody benefits. So this has benefited teachers. If you see the class delivery, it is amazing. Sometimes, like when we observe, from where this teacher has suddenly come up with something new in the classroom and making very interesting for the students. And that was really amazing. This sessions, which was held in the month of December, which ended with a graduation ceremony we had, and this started somewhere in October and we ended in the month of December. This was regularly happening, and that's what we were titled in the carte blanche school graduation ceremony as a change maker.
Wonderful. So I guess you hope on both of you keep on making the changes in the education field. All right, moving forward. Ma'am, do you think, Paramjeet ma'am, it is crucial for a teacher to undergo certain training? Or, as an educator yourself, I'm pretty sure you must have implemented various strategies and techniques, um, which you might have adopted from your training sessions that you would have taken. So, have you done that? Of course, you must have done that. That's the whole point of taking the training. But do you think it is imperative for a teacher to receive training, or you can learn on the go?
Training strengthens your confidence, right? It makes the teacher more confident and can really help her to move ahead. Now when it comes to trainings, how did we go about? Coming to my own trainings in the good old days, we never had trainings. When I was a young teacher, we didn't have much training. It was, your head of the department or your principal guiding you, do it like that. Or sometimes we would share amongst our fellow teachers and say, this went wrong, how do we go about? It was pure learning, co-learning. In our school right now, you talked about collaboration. Let me mention here that I had 12 teachers from my school for 4 years. Every year, 4 teachers would go from our school to schools in England, and 4 teachers would come from there to us. We had gone to that extent. It was all British Council courtesy, and it was a great experience. And of course, what we learned from there, we did implement in our school, and that was also sort of training when they would go and see the projects and everything, how they teach. Now, in our school, what we do during, especially the regular classes, nothing much can be done, hands are full. But whenever you have this examination going on and you have an off in between, we go for peer teaching, peer training in a big way. We select the latest topic. This particular group is going to train the remaining teachers, apart from the CBSE trainings which we have. God's grace, I'm a CBSE resource person also, and recently had a training session for teachers from all over India. It was teaching in the 21st century, teaching and learning in the 21st century. I just loved the session because it was all technology I was talking about and how to go about it. So training is a passion for me, but that confidence and that training culture is there in a school when the in-house training is each one they come in groups. Three of them will train the remaining teachers apart from CBSE trainings which they are attending. And training is the success mantra. If you have ample number of training, you'll have teachers working like air hostess, the way they work in the airport. These teachers work in the school with all the confidence because they're trained, they have confidence, communication skills, the gray material, everything is there. You see the difference, once you train your teachers. That's it.
Wonderful. And I'm sure, Radhamani ma'am, same would be the case with your teachers as well and with you as well.
But I agree with Paramjeet ma'am when they said the training improves their confidence, because what happens, in the training teaches you why are you doing this? What is the reason behind it to be done this way? Otherwise, every teacher should have they should have that passion to learn, because here also when we say multiple intelligence, for students we look into multiple intelligences, because in the classroom there should be a different way of teaching. The same is applicable to teachers, because I myself believe I learn more by seeing and doing. I just love experiential learning. And I tried almost 8 years. I was in the classroom. I tried to do many experimental things, even if it is, I take social studies, and it's not very easy to make them experiment. But we do that, I try to find that thing. So it is very, very important that, training is required. It gives you
Right.
a technical aspect to it. So I agree with Paramjeet and
Wonderful. So, of course, training, taking cue from that, training is required because it builds up confidence. It lets you strut in a very poised manner, as well as it will also help you in understanding that what you're doing is absolutely correctly right. All right. So, coming to the end of the webinar, Paramjeet ma'am and Radhamani ma'am, how do you envision the future of teacher training? Because one, for example, like we spoke about global collaboration, you spoke about British Council training and everything. I Do you think this will be a normal norm now that we are all connected with Zoom and everybody knows that there's a rapid acceptance of technology nowadays that we are
Yes.
seeing. So, do you think the same trend will continue or will it simmer down? Radhamani ma'am, let's go. Let's go with you first.
definitely this is not going to simmer down, but remote learning is going to stay here for I think for longer time. But the thing is, we need to evolve from here.
Hmm.
I strongly believe that we should know about our human technology, like that connecting to each other, each students is very, very important. And definitely our see, I always tell my teachers that our body itself is a big technology. I
Hmm.
recently have seen one video where the entire body system has been explained through technology, how it works. So the thing is, what I am looking forward is technology as well as human touch.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it goes for a blended learning. That's what it is. We can take it to that direction. So
Of
that is
course.
what is the future, and definitely the 21st century learners, where with collaboration, self-regulation, the knowledge, constructing the knowledge together, and then solving the real-time problems.
Hmm.
That is one of the best thing. And apart from all this thing, that is communications have we have become so closer to each other, but still there is a problem with communication. There is a problem that we have to work on, and definitely with the help of all the tools. And I believe that so the future right now to explain what is to be the specific thing is very difficult, but blended learning is something which I look forward.
Right. And also, ma'am, to be very honest, when it comes to technology, at Entab also we always say that our role is to equip a teacher with the best of the tools and not to replace a teacher, because a teacher or a guru can never be replaced.
Yes, that touch is very, very
That
important, sir.
personal touch has to be there. Paramjeet ma'am, over to you. What about you?
You know, one thing which I missed during this remote learning is that shake hand which I had with my students, and that
Yeah,
pat which was there at the back, and the hugs which was normal. They walk in the corridor. How are you, my dear? Come on. That's what.
And these students have small issues, no? They come and tell you, the teacher solves that. It's so beautiful, we miss that. And if I'll tell you, when I visit my school building, oh, really it moist my eyes. It's so like, students are not there in the corridor, walking around, talking to each other, interacting. We miss that.
I'm
Definitely.
sure.
So we actually miss all this personal touch and everything, but COVID now and the gender, sensitivity and all those guidance which are there says no more hugs now, says no more shake hands now. See, how we're going to adjust to this new normal? For me, this is the new normal which is there. But yes, hybrid learning is going to go there, be there. Future is technology. We cannot do away with technology. The earlier we accept it, the better it is. And since we've already plunged into it, we have just gone into this technology. I don't think in our school we're going to leave it as such. We might go for hybrid learning, but yes. We don't know how long this pandemic is still going to last with its, it might take some time. India is a big country with all the vaccination going around. The parents say, till I am vaccinated and people around me are vaccinated, I would not send my child. Different people, different opinions. Some are very brave to send them. So it'll be hybrid and we'll go for it. This is they're going to stay. Coming to teachers, it'll be n number of online trainings which we'll have to adopt and accept. And we did go for some online training, so it is perfectly all right. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if you're passionate to learning, if you've developed a culture in your school which says teacher empowerment is important, and teachers have a thirst and a hunger to learn a little more, I'm sure it'll be online. Of course, some face to face also, but with all the precautions around. Pandemic has taught us to value relationships, to value human beings, to value everything, to value the environment. And we're going to do that. We're going to value everything now.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, to all those who are listening on YouTube, value everything. And a very important thing, the future is technology, the way forward is technology, and the future is now. So, that's all from our side. Thank you so much, Paramjeet ma'am. Thank you so much, Radhamani ma'am, for giving us your valuable time. It was a pleasure talking to you and have this conversation with you. I know we went a little bit off script, but I tend to do that. I get lost in conversation. So it was a wonderful time I had. Thank you so much for your valuable time, ma'am.
We enjoyed and thank you for the opportunity.